Well, good evening. It's Sunday night, and I've decided to speak to you this evening from that most classic of online education settings, the kitchen table, which is where I'm sure a lot more education is taking place these days than anybody ever dreamed of even just a few years ago. Okay, let me explain a little bit of what's going on this week and a very quick review of last week. First, if we go into Unit 3, which we're beginning, I decided to just reinsert a video I did last Mod 1, in the very first running of the course, because the information in that video is pretty much absolutely unchanged from what I saw in your week. And remember, you're the second run through of this course, so everything is still all very new to us, and it's a great learning experience across the board. I just want to reiterate what I said in that the discussion board that you guys put together this week was absolutely one of the best ones I've seen in a long time. I really appreciate that everybody does the very detailed, very well-developed first post, and then the action between people going back and forth and asking questions and challenging each other and gaining information from each other. This is where we're going to learn an awful lot about everything that we talk about. It's really one of the prime tools for learning in this course, and I really just want to tell you how much I appreciate everybody's efforts. Last week, as you see, it got a little bit more filled with information, direct information. We actually introduced the Baldrige principles, and you can see what they're all about. And the video I just referenced also talks about that. I also hope that everybody got a chance to really go back and look at the work from Deming. Deming, as I said, was a much earlier, a precursor of a lot of the thinking in equality movements today. And when we did the assignment where you compared and contrasted Deming and Baldrige, I think, at least from my opinion, like I say, there's probably a lot more comparison in what's going on. So that's going to be very interesting for me to read everyone's ideas. I think that this week is now going to get a little bit more into the application of the principles that we introduced last week. And you'll notice this first one that we're starting off with is that first concept in Baldrige where we talk about visionary leadership. Well, visionary leadership also is a strategic concept. So basically the readings and the resources this week center around two basic things: the concepts of leadership itself, and also an introduction to strategy. And what I'm trying to do for us is to move away from what I think is a more traditional approach that people have probably heard about for years called strategic planning, and into more of a process of strategic thinking. And I think you'll see that there are some subtle and not so subtle differences, and also this idea of visionary leadership. When you look at leadership, look at the way Baldrige uses that term, and I would like everybody to keep that in mind as you go through the week's work, okay? The idea is visionary leadership. So take a look at the video that's the quote leftover unquote from last mod, but I think it's still appropriate. Make sure you ask questions. Discussion board, as I've hinted and actually come out and said in some of the grades I did last week. Each week it's going to get a little bit tougher, a little bit more rigorous, and I think that's to be expected in a course of this nature. But again, I just want to thank everybody for the great job you're doing, and let's keep it up and see what we can accomplish this week. Okay? Thanks very much.